But let's just step back for a second and make sure the American people understand what it is.
I am hoping that the religious people will not have the right to impose their religious beliefs on
The main
anyone.
message I want to give to the American people here is, despite all the hue and cry and sky is falling predictions about this,
exercise their freedom of conscience and not be forced by our government to cover abortion-causing drugs.
what is left to be implemented is those provisions to help the 10 to 15% of the American public.
Increasing federal power is affecting nearly every aspect of American society, stripping power from our states into a centralized political promise, defining the limitations of our people and their aspirations. A nation founded on the principle of opinion that censors the expression of traditions which undermine the modern progressive culture. Our fathers and their fathers before them have died for a nation that can no longer exist without the demands of federal authorities and societal trends. Trends that threaten the very fabric of our traditional American principles. With socialized healthcare came its promise of a redistribution of wealth to provide millions with unaffordable insurance that benefits only the companies from which you're insured. This progressive agenda gave birth to a conflict unforeseen in prior generations. The only thing standing in the way of the pro-choice movement is Christian morality, the idea that every American, no matter how small, has an equal guarantee of the promises afforded through our Creator. It's this same principle and moral code that holds our nation and others from the destructive ideologies that have killed hundreds of millions of innocent people the world over. But how could they ever dismantle religious perception for future generations? Obamacare was merely a vessel, one that promises good and equality for all, except God's most fragile creation. The contraceptive mandate hidden within the 20,000 pages of this unconstitutional healthcare law promises only to dissolve the last remaining fabric of morality from our American society. No longer can religious institutions deny contraceptive coverage to their employees. No longer can they stand against darkness without fear of persecution. And it wasn't enough for our nation to legalize abortion. They needed to make sure its acceptance was perceived throughout the world. They needed to assure that the world would follow us into this future, one filled with only death and our own destruction. Any institution that stands in the way of darkness is now being sought out and ostracized for their faith, a freedom only allotted to those who accept the will of their leaders over the will of God.
When the people you care for look up at you, they want to see Christ's face. When you look down at them, you have to find Christ's face. The elderly are at risk if they are on their own, no one to speak for them, no one to stand up and express to the world and show the world that these people are still valuable. They're God's creation. And whether they're Catholic or of any other faith persuasion, they have a home here.
The Little Sisters of the Poor have provided care for our country's forgotten. Those who we deemed unimportant because of their inability to exist in this society. A modern-day persecution of the poor and aged generation that mirrors the same roots and division allotted to those in Nazi Germany. Catholic and Christian institutions alike are being forced to bow before a federal doctrine that has existed for a mere second compared to that of their religion. The government using taxation as a weapon of change, finding non-profit organizations millions of dollars to subvert their belief before God and the entire world. It's when society decides who lives and who dies, who's worthless and who's of value, that we lose sight of our humanity. A threat of morality they will stop at nothing to cut. The next few months will decide the fate for everyone in this nation. Every mother, every son, every unborn child. They trust you with their future, one free of subversion and oppression. We are at war, and we all know what's at stake and what we're up against. If we don't end it here and now, no one else will. We will sacrifice, and we will find a way. This is the Firestorm Movement. To learn more, please click subscribe, like, and comment below. If you believe in this message, share it across every media outlet. We can, and we will, change this nation.